Veggie cakes are a fantastic way to eat your vegetables and have something sweet at the same time.
We're making an old-fashioned chiffon cake.
Today we're going to make a lazy daisy cake.
How has the art of cake making changed over time, pushing once celebrated recipes into obscurity? From the rich flavors of Cherokee cake to the familiar warmth of carrot cake, could these iconic desserts ever reclaim their place in our kitchens, reminding us of the timeless joy they once brought? Join us as we explore 20 famous cake recipes that faded into history. Cherokee cake, a traditional dessert from the Cherokee tribe, had a deep history in their culinary practices. Made with simple ingredients like cornmeal, honey, and berries, it was a staple in Cherokee homes. The cake's roots lay in the tribe's use of natural sweeteners and locally available ingredients, reflecting their strong connection to the land. In the early 20th century, Cherokee cake was famous at community gatherings and celebrations. Its unique taste combines cornmeal's earthy flavor with the sweetness of honey and berries. However, as processed foods and modern baking techniques became more common, the traditional methods for making Cherokee cake started to decline. The shift towards contemporary desserts led to its fading popularity. As the traditional Cherokee cake fades into history, could the creative use of vegetables in baking bring us something equally unique? Let's explore how this vegetable-based treat captured the spotlight.
Today we are making a zucchini cake. Every time I share a zucchini recipe, I feel like I say this, but this is my current favorite way to use up zucchini.
Zucchini cake, a cherished dessert of the 1970s and 80s, emerged as a creative response to the surplus of summer zucchini. This moist cake, reminiscent of carrot cake, blended grated zucchini with flour, sugar, eggs, and warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg. It became popular at potlucks and family gatherings, often topped with a rich cream cheese frosting. Its rise to fame coincided with the home gardening and health food movements, reflecting a time when people sought to incorporate vegetables into their diets. Zucchini's mild flavor and natural moisture made it an ideal ingredient, ensuring a tender cake without an overpowering vegetable taste. However, zucchini cake's popularity waned as food trends shifted towards more indulgent and visually striking desserts. Despite its decline, the cake remains a nostalgic favorite for those who remember its comforting presence during a more resourceful culinary era.
If you are looking for a show-stopping dessert that's as elegant as it is delicious, look no further than the opera cake.
Opera cake, a luxurious French dessert, gained popularity in the USA during the 1960s and 70s. This elegant cake featured layers of almond sponge cake, known as Joconde, soaked in coffee syrup and alternated with rich coffee buttercream and chocolate ganache. The top was typically glazed with shiny chocolate and often adorned with the word opera written in chocolate. While the cake's exact origins are debated, it is widely credited to the French patisserie house Dalio, named in tribute to the Paris Opera. Its intricate layers and sophisticated flavors made it a favorite at upscale bakeries and special occasions. However, opera cake's popularity waned over time, mainly due to its complexity and the growing preference for more straightforward, more convenient desserts. The labor-intensive process required to create this masterpiece and the rise of quicker, easier-to-make sweets contributed to its decline in the modern culinary landscape. Fruit cocktail cake, a cherished dessert from the 1950s to 70s, was ordinary at family gatherings and potlucks. The cake was made using essential pantry ingredients like flour, sugar, eggs, and a can of fruit cocktail, including its syrup. The fruit cocktail, a blend of diced peaches, pears, grapes, and cherries, gave the cake a sweet, moist texture. Often, the cake was topped with a rich glaze of buttery coconut and pecans, enhancing its flavor. During the post-war era, when convenience foods were highly valued, fruit cocktail cake gained popularity. A canned fruit cocktail was a common household item, making the cake an easy and quick dessert. However, as fresh ingredients became more available and food trends shifted towards more sophisticated and health-conscious desserts, fruit cocktail cake gradually lost its place in the spotlight and became less common.
Today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making an old-fashioned chiffon cake. So let's get started.
Chiffon cake, invented in the late 1940s by Harry Baker, an insurance salesman from Los Angeles who became a baker, quickly became popular in the 1950s. This cake stood out because it combined the richness of butter cakes with the lightness of sponge cakes. It was made with cake flour, sugar, baking powder, eggs, oil, and flavorings like vanilla or lemon. The key to its light and airy texture was beating the egg whites separately and folding them into the batter, creating a fluffy and moist cake perfect for any occasion. Chiffon cake was famous at parties and celebrations during the 1950s and 60s. However, its popularity declined in the 1980s and 90s as baking trends shifted towards more decadent desserts like cheesecakes and chocolate cakes, and the rise of convenience foods and ready-made cake mixes made baking from scratch less common. Banana flip cake was a popular treat during the 1960s and 70s, loved for its unique shape and tasty banana flavor. The cake featured a moist banana sponge folded over a creamy filling, making it look like a taco. It was made with yellow cake mix, instant banana pudding, eggs, milk, butter, and shortening. Its light, fluffy texture and sweet banana cream made it a favorite snack for kids. Banana flip cakes became well known because they were convenient and nostalgic. They were often packed in lunchboxes and enjoyed after school. However, its popularity faded in the late 1980s and early 1990s as people began to prefer healthier snacks and more sophisticated desserts. The rise of prepackaged snacks and the discontinuation of commercial versions by brands like Hostess and Dolly Madison also contributed to its decline in the market.
This is some yummy Caribbean rum cake with a butter rum glaze.
Rum cake, a popular dessert from the 1950s to the 1980s, was known for its rich flavor and moist texture. The cake was typically made with yellow cake mix, instant vanilla pudding, eggs, water, oil, and rum. It often included nuts like walnuts or pecans and was soaked in a buttery rum glaze, giving it a distinctive, indulgent taste. During the holiday season and special occasions, rum cake became a favorite due to its festive flavor and the warmth of the rum. However, its popularity declined in the 1990s as taste shifted towards lighter, less alcohol-infused desserts. The rise of health-conscious eating habits and new dessert trends also contributed to its fade from the spotlight. Despite this, rum cake remains nostalgic for many who enjoy its rich and flavorful profile. As rum cake faded into nostalgia, what other dessert from the Atomic Age saw a similar rise and fall? Let's explore the atomic cake. Atomic cake, a delightful treat from Chicago's South Side, first appeared in the 1940s during the Atomic Age. This cake was known for its impressive layers and bright flavors, typically featuring 3 different types of cake: banana, chocolate, and white. Fillings like banana pudding, chocolate pudding, and fresh strawberries separated each layer. The entire cake was then covered in whipped cream, making it visually appealing and delicious. It became trendy in the 1950s and 60s, often at celebrations and family gatherings. Its unique blend of flavors and textures made it a favorite among kids and adults. However, by the 1980s and 90s, its popularity began to wane as baking trends shifted towards more straightforward, uniform desserts. The time-consuming process of creating multiple layers and fillings also contributed to its decline from mainstream baking. Mock Angel Food Cake, a more straightforward take on the classic angel food cake, gained popularity in the mid-20th century. Unlike the traditional version, this cake used fewer egg whites, making it denser while maintaining a light and airy texture. The primary ingredients were cake flour, sugar, egg whites, cream of tartar, and flavorings like vanilla or almond extract. The batter was poured into an ungreased pan and baked until golden and fluffy. During the 1950s and 60s, Mock Angel Food Cake became a favorite among home bakers seeking a more accessible alternative to the more complex angel food cake. However, its popularity began to wane in the 1980s and 90s as baking trends shifted towards more decadent desserts. Additionally, the rise of prepackaged cake mixes and convenience foods made baking from scratch less common.
And today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making an easy, amazing gingerbread cake. So let's get started.
Gingerbread cake has a long history, starting in ancient Greece and Rome, where it was made with honey and spices like ginger. It gained popularity in medieval Europe especially in England, where Queen Elizabeth I enjoyed gingerbread cakes shaped like people. The cake's main ingredients included ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, molasses, and brown sugar, giving it a warm and spicy flavor. Gingerbread cake became a cherished holiday treat in the U.S., often baked into festive shapes like houses and figures. From the 1950s to the 90s, gingerbread cake was especially popular in the USA, particularly around Christmas time. However, its popularity waned over time due to changing taste and the emergence of new dessert trends. People began to favor lighter, less spicy cakes, and the time-consuming process of making gingerbread houses also contributed to its decline. As gingerbread cake lost its charm over the years, what other decadent beloved cakes faded from the spotlight? Let's explore sour cream chocolate cake next. Sour cream chocolate cake was a favorite dessert of the USA from the 1950s to the 1990s. Known for its moist, rich texture, the cake got its unique quality from sour cream, which added a slight tang and also kept it from drying out. Its main ingredients were all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, unsweetened cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, sour cream, vegetable oil, eggs, and brewed coffee. The coffee enhanced the chocolate flavor without making it too strong. This cake was famous for its simplicity and intense chocolate taste, making it a go-to choice for everyday treats and special occasions. However, as new dessert trends emerged and people started favoring lighter, less decadent cakes, the cake's popularity declined. Additionally, with the rise of health-conscious eating, high-fat ingredients like sour cream became less common.
Today we're going to make a Lazy Daisy cake, and this is what it looks like.
Lazy Daisy cake, a much-loved dessert from the mid-20th century, was celebrated for its simplicity and delightful taste. It became popular in the 40s and 50s, particularly during wartime when ingredients were hard to come by. The cake was named for its easy preparation, requiring just one bowl and minimal effort. Its essential ingredients included flour, sugar, eggs, milk, and butter to make a light, fluffy sponge cake. Its unique topping made it special with sugar, butter, cream, and shredded coconut, broiled and caramelized to perfection. Lazy Daisy cake was cherished for its quick preparation and the comforting nostalgia it provided. However, its popularity diminished as baking trends shifted towards more elaborate desserts and convenience foods. Despite this decline, Lazy Daisy cake remains a fond memory for those who enjoyed its simple yet satisfying flavor during its peak.
What I'm going to be making today is boiled raisin cake. This is a delicious traditional Newfoundland boiled raisin cake.
Boiled raisin cake, also known as war cake or poor man's cake, was a typical treat during the Great Depression and World War II. It gained popularity from the 1930s to the 50s because it used inexpensive ingredients and was easy to make. The cake's main ingredients included raisins, water, sugar, flour, and spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Raisins were boiled with sugar and water to create a sweet syrup, then combined with the dry ingredients to make the cake batter. Its appeal lay in its simplicity, as it didn't require eggs, milk, or butter, items often scarce during wartime. As the economy improved and more luxurious ingredients became available, the boiled raisin cake fell out of favor. People's taste shifted towards more decadent desserts, leaving this humble cake as a nostalgic memory for those who enjoyed it during its peak. What new colorful treat captured America's post-war sweet tooth as people moved on from the simple boiled raisin cake? Let's explore the snowball cake.
In this one, I'll show you how to make these delightful individual coconut snowball cakes.
Snowball cake was a beloved mid-20th century treat known for its unique look and sweet flavor. Introduced by Hostess in 1947, the cake had a cream-filled chocolate base topped with fluffy marshmallow frosting and sprinkled with coconut flakes. Initially, the cakes were white, but they became famous for their bright pink color. The main ingredients were chocolate cake, marshmallow icing, and shredded coconut. Snowball cake became popular after World War II when Americans were excited to enjoy sweet treats after years of rationing. Its fun appearance and delicious taste made it a hit with both children and adults. However, snowball cake's popularity declined as baking trends changed and more sophisticated desserts became available. The growing focus on healthy eating and the increasing variety of dessert options also contributed to its decline. Strawberry angel food cake was a popular dessert in the 1950s and 60s. It was loved for its light, fluffy texture and sweet, fruity flavor. This cake combined the airy qualities of angel food cake with the fresh taste of strawberries, making it an ideal summer treat. The main ingredients included angel food cake mix, strawberry jello, frozen strawberries, and Cool Whip. People mixed the jello with boiling water to prepare it, added the strawberries, and then folded in the Cool Whip and cake pieces. The cake's popularity peaked during the mid-20th century when convenience foods were in vogue and no-bake desserts became household favorites. However, as taste changed and people began to prefer fresh homemade desserts, strawberry angel food cake gradually fell out of favor. The rise of health-conscious eating also played a role in its decline, as people started avoiding processed ingredients like Jell-O and Cool Whip. Lemon ice box cake was a popular no-bake dessert from the 1950s to the 1970s. This refreshing cake was perfect for hot summer days, combining layers of graham crackers with a creamy lemon filling. The main ingredients were lemon pudding mix, Cool Whip, and graham crackers. Sometimes fresh lemon juice and zest were added for extra flavor. The cake was made by layering the graham crackers and lemon mixture, then chilling it in the refrigerator until it set. Its popularity soared during the mid-20th century when convenience and quick recipes were highly valued. Families loved it for its simplicity and the bright, tangy taste that contrasted nicely with heavier desserts. However, as cooking trends shifted towards more natural and homemade ingredients, lemon icebox cake began losing its appeal. The use of processed ingredients like Cool Whip and instant pudding mix made it less attractive to health-conscious consumers. Devil's Float cake was a popular dessert from the 1950s to the 1970s. It had a rich chocolate cake layer that floated on top of a gooey chocolate pudding layer, creating a fun mix of textures. The main ingredients were flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking powder, milk, butter, and vanilla. The batter was poured into a baking dish to make the cake, and a mixture of sugars and cocoa was sprinkled on top. Hot water was poured over everything, and as the cake baked, it formed the pudding layer. Homemakers loved trying new and exciting recipes during the mid-20th century, so Devil's Float cake was quite famous. However, the cake's appeal faded as baking trends shifted to lighter and healthier options. Its rich, indulgent nature and high sugar content made it less attractive to health-conscious consumers. Devil's Float cake's popularity might have faded, but what about a no-bake, chilled dessert that ruled summer gatherings? Let's explore pineapple refrigerator cake next. The pineapple refrigerator cake was a favorite dessert in the mid-20th century USA, especially during the 50s and 60s. This no-bake treat was popular at summer gatherings and potlucks because it was easy to make and had a refreshing taste. The cake typically had layers of crushed pineapple, vanilla wafers, and whipped cream, all chilled in the refrigerator until firm. Some versions added ingredients like condensed milk, coconut, and pudding mix. Its popularity grew from the post-war interest in convenience foods and the increasing number of American households with refrigerators. It was ideal for busy homemakers who wanted to serve a tasty dessert without spending much time in the kitchen. Over time, however, the pineapple refrigerator cake lost its appeal as baking trends changed and more sophisticated desserts became trendy. Additionally, the rise of health-conscious eating led people to avoid high-sugar and high-fat desserts. Carrot pudding cake was a beloved dessert of the 1970s and 80s in the USA. It mixed the moistness of carrot cake with the creamy richness of pudding, making it a unique and tasty treat. Key ingredients included grated carrots, flour, sugar, eggs, oil, and spices like cinnamon and nutmeg. Instant vanilla pudding was often added to the batter, making the cake extra moist and flavorful. This cake was trendy in the fall and during the holidays because its warm spices and rich texture made it perfect for comfort food. It was a hit at family gatherings and potlucks where its distinct flavor combination was appreciated. However, as taste evolved, the carrot pudding cake gradually fell out of favor. The shift towards lighter, healthier desserts and decreased interest in heavily spiced, dense cakes led to its decline in modern dessert choices. Carrot pudding cake may have faded away, but what other sweet Southern treat could have once rivaled its popularity? Let's explore the chess cake next. Chess cake, a rich and indulgent dessert, was famous in the southern USA from the 1950s to the 1980s. It was known for its dense, gooey texture and sweet flavor. The main ingredients were yellow cake mix, cream cheese, eggs, butter, and powdered sugar. The cake mix formed the base, while the cream cheese mixture created a delicious topping. Chess cake was especially enjoyed at church gatherings, potlucks, and family reunions because it was simple to make and loved by everyone. The cake's name likely came from chess pie, another southern dessert with a similar rich filling. Over time, chess cakes lost their appeal as people's tastes changed and health-conscious eating became more popular. With a shift towards lighter and less sugary desserts, the once beloved chess cake gradually fell out of favor.